Hello, my name's Abel Chavez, and for the story I chose for my essay, I chose The Ones Who Walk Away from Omelas. I chose that one because I found it the most interesting and I liked reading it. And sorry, I found it the most easily to compare to with a different, like a real world issue than any of the other stories, mostly because it's like meaning behind it and how like the child like suffers for the better of the utopia. And for my real world issue, I chose immigrant workers and minority workers. I find that the one like it just popped up in my head, and I found it like easily to talk about. And I felt like the immigrant workers and minority workers could tie into like the child in the closet from Oma Laws and how they both like suffer for the better of their utopia. I guess that's what you could say, our nation. And my thesis for the topic was the ones who walk away from Omelas in current day America show how we as a society tend to turn a blind eye on immigrant workers and minority workers. I chose that. It just like I felt like it'd be easily to see. I mean, not to see, but to compare with. And yeah, it just felt like something that I could talk about for 3 pages long, and something I was actually interested in, and something I wanted to talk about as well. And my outline for the story, the beginning is pretty much just a summary of the story, and I tried to like come later on, gosh, later on talk about how it, the topic and the real world issue compare. I try to like say how and why. Saying I say not even in a utopia of umlauts was this held true. Where there's people prospering, almost like living in a utopia, there is bound to be people beneath who will suffer. And then for my three main talking points, I chose the New York nail salon industry because a New York Times posted like some article about how their workers were like being treated like poorly, mostly because it is built upon undocumented Latinas and Asians, and then impoverished Black people, and how they're the ones who like created this industry, but are the ones who get the short end of the stick with wage theft and everything. And then for my second one, I chose factory workers and cleaning ladies. I wouldn't say that's their name, but I can't really find a name for them right now. I guess maids, and how like their hours are just like they work physically demanding and mentally exhausting hours and shifts, and they get very little pay out of it, like paycheck by paycheck living. And I just say how like it this is not just happening in factory and cleaning industry as well. A lot could be said of many jobs where immigrant workers are a big population, as employers have a tendency to exploit them and overwork them, such as in construction and landscaping. Yeah, that one was mostly about how they exploit their workers for little to no pay. And my final one was mostly about Native Americans. I found that the easily to say to compare with the child in the closet from Omalas, not like something like that. From Omalas, mostly because they both suffered a lot for their nation. Like they both are people who've suffered so we can have what we have currently. Like with the child, he gets beaten, I think weekly. I don't know. I forgot how much. And so Omalas could be a utopia, and how the Native Americans back in the day, they were the first settlers, and how they were treated and how they still are treated to this day, and how we've become America to this day because of their suffering. And yeah, that's basically my presentation.